It's been a long night for city staff as we have pulled together an interagency response to a case of illegal chemical dumping into our sanitary sewer system. I want to make one statement very clear right now, that this illegal chemical dumping incident that we're sharing with you this morning does not affect drinking water. It is a dumping into our sanitary sewer system, and it's not going into our water supply at all. In fact, the chemical that was dumped was actually isolated within our Mallard Creek wastewater treatment plant, where we were able to assess what the chemical was, its properties. The chemical was contained because the plant was actually shut down by alert personnel in Charlotte-Mecklenburg Utility Department until a full assessment could be made. We have put the plant back online this morning now that we have assurances that it is safe to do so. However, we do want to caution people living along Mallard Creek south of the plant, particularly in Cabarrus County, to avoid human or animal contact with water in the creek until we do more testing. From all of the research and analysis that we have done, we have high level of assurances that the water will be safe as it leaves the plant, but we do want to engage in an abundance of caution and ask people, again, to avoid water contact, animals and human. I have with me this morning Barry Gullett. He is the director of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Utilities Department. He'll come forward and share with you in greater detail the specifics of the incident yesterday and the action that his team took.
We detected an unusual substance coming into the Mallard Creek wastewater treatment plant around noon yesterday. We immediately began investigation. We took the plant offline. We were able to divert wastewater coming into the plant into a storage tank where we held it. We contacted Charlotte Fire Department Hazmat to come help us figure out what it was. We were able to trace the substance upstream, and we found the point where we believe a deliberate and illegal discharge was made into the sewer system. We worked through the night to make adjustments in the plant to be sure that we could handle the product and that we could produce safe and clean wastewater from the plant. So the plant, like Mr. Carley said, the plant is back online and is functioning this morning. I'll turn it over to back to Mr. Carley.
Thank you, and Mr. Gullett will be available to answer questions as well. I'd like to bring forward Detective Rob Klass from Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department to give you a report on the criminal investigation.
Could I ask one question briefly? We're live right now.
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell us what that substance is?
Yes, ma'am.
The substance contains PCBs and some other organic chemicals. The PCB is the primary concern.
Can you state again what alerted you to this, or how did you come across that there was some illegal dumping? What alerted you to this?
The operators at the plant noticed a change in the wastewater that was coming in. We noticed a sheen, an oily sheen on the water surface in the plant that's not normal. And so anytime we see something that's not normal, we follow up and investigate, and that's what we did.
Yeah, there have been other instances of this in other communities, specifically Greenville, South Carolina. They were helpful in providing us information about how they dealt with the chemical in their wastewater plant. We're also going to be following up in terms of their criminal case as well. So Detective Rob Klass here from Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department will share some information on that for you.
I'm here to ask for the public's help in this matter. Sometime during the late evening of Wednesday, February 5th, in the early morning hours of February 6th, we believe that's the time period that this dumping has taken place. And what we're looking for is the area around West Sugar Creek Road and Harris Boulevard. Their most likely suspect vehicle would be like a septic pump truck. So anybody in the public that had seen any vehicles matching that description or anybody dumping anything into storm drains, we're asking you to call Crime Stoppers. And that's about it.
All right, thank you very much. Again, if you see anything in the public that appears to be someone dumping something into the sanitary sewer system, and it is not a Charlotte-Mecklenburg Utility Department truck, please call 911. And specifically, if anybody saw anything in the area of Sugar Creek and W.T. Harris, there's a food line store in that area. We believe a sanitary sewer system serving part of that store was the place where this illegal dumping occurred. It had nothing to do with the food line operations, but someone took advantage of sanitary sewer access at that store. And if anybody saw anything suspicious in that area, late Wednesday night or early Thursday morning, please call Crime Stoppers. Also with me is Deputy Fire Chief Jeff Doolin. He is our emergency manager. He's been in contact with our other federal and state partners who we all engaged into this investigation as well. Yes, ma'am.
A 6:30 press conference. This is obviously unusual. Why such an early time?
We wanted to get you into the first news cycle when we actually had information that we could put out. We really have worked this issue throughout the entire evening to understand what went into the system, what impacts it may have, whether or not there's a danger to the public. And now that we have fairly complete information, we wanted to put it out in the very first news cycle that we could.
Can you safely say there is no danger whatsoever to the public, either with the drinking water or coming into contact with the creek water?
I can say with assurances that this incident had no impact on our drinking water whatsoever. With regard to potential danger in contact to the creek water as it leaves our wastewater plant, I cannot give 100% assurances at this time. We want to do further testing. We want actual data to show what's coming out of the plant and that it is safe. All the technical analysis and research that has been done by our technical staff and people with whom we've consulted leads us to believe that the water coming from the plant based on the treatment there will be safe. But we will not say that definitively until we have hard data to back that up. Thus, we ask people who live along the creek beyond the Mallard Creek wastewater plant to please avoid human or animal contact.
South of the plant, how do you?
It's south and east, isn't it? Yes.
Have those people been alerted by you?
That's what we're doing right now, is putting this information out through all of our news media now that we know what the situation is and we can provide that alert to them. And we appreciate your cooperation in helping us do that.
You're pretty certain that it was dumped in a drain and not in a creek, and you have it specifically targeted to a certain drain?
Yes, we think we have nailed that down based on fairly exhaustive work during the day yesterday. That we will be double checking the entire line over the course of this morning in daylight to make sure that we have not missed anything. But based on what was a very comprehensive research, again, involving both the utilities department and the fire department, we feel like we think we have identified the actual location where the dumping occurred.
Can you give us more details on what exactly the chemical is?
Sure, let me ask Mr. Gullett to come forward.
We may never know exactly what the entire substance was, but we know the components of it. One of the components, as I said earlier, is PCBs, which have been banned since the late 70s, but still turn up in the environment from time to time. They're a very hazardous material. The other material that we found, the other substance we found in this material was trichlorobenzene, which is an organic chemical. So we've been monitoring those levels, and like I said, we've isolated that. We have storage tanks at the Mallard Creek plant, and we're able to divert that contaminated wastewater into those storage tanks. We believe that the wastewater that's coming into the plant now is relatively clear of that material. We believe that it has all flowed down the pipe. The point we believe the dumpers used to put this into the system is about 10 miles from the Mallard Creek wastewater treatment plant as the pipe flows. And so we believe that it has finally arrived and passed into the plant now and is captured and contained within those holding tanks.
Do we believe the source of this contamination came from north of the Mallard Creek treatment facility? Or where is that? Give us some.
The Mallard Creek Wastewater Treatment Plant is located near the Mecklenburg-Cabarrus County line, out near the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And the site that has been identified as the dumping site is near the intersection of Sugar Creek Road and Harris Boulevard, which is about, as I said, it's about 10 miles away.
Any idea how much of that chemical was dumped?
We really don't know. We know that septic hauling trucks of the type that we suspect was used in this incident generally can hold somewhere between 3,000 and 5,000 gallons. So we don't know exactly how much was put into the sewer system, but we know it was a significant amount.
Now that you have this chemical isolated, what you have it isolated in tanks, what happens with it now? What do you do with it?
That's a very good question. The material is considered a hazardous material, and we will have to dispose of it properly. We aren't sure exactly what that means just yet. We expect that it will be quite complicated and probably very expensive.
Where do these materials come from? Are they in use in any sort of commercial industry today? Or?
PCBs have been banned in this country since the late 70s, but they still persist in equipment. Sometimes they're in transformers and other types of equipment, and so they're very hard to dispose of, as you can imagine, being a hazardous material. So it can be very tempting for unscrupulous septic haulers to do this. So again, we would ask that the public be very diligent. This may not be a one-time incident. If this person has done it once, they may do it again. And so we really do need the public's help in being diligent about watching for people who are putting things into the sewer system that should not be.
Can we find out more about those charges that they could face?
I'm sorry, could you?
What kind of charges could this company or whomever is doing this, what kind of charges are they?
I'll have to refer that to the detective.
The actual North Carolina charge would be actually dumping a toxic substance. And federally, we're going to look into getting federal help in this, and they have their own separate set of charges.
Do we believe this is a commercial industry or a company dumping this, or could there be some sort of ill intent to actually harm people with this type of dumping?
I don't believe there's any attempt to actually harm anybody. I think it's just early indications with what's happened elsewhere in other jurisdictions is it's usually somebody that's trying to make extra money by disposing of these chemicals in the wrong way.
Is that a real concern is that a big concern that this has happened before or that it could happen again? Is that a big concern about this stuff?
Yes, it is a very big concern. This is a very risky and very dangerous thing. We were fortunate in that we were able to identify the material coming into the plant, and our workers always wear protective equipment, but there are substances that exist in the world that could be very harmful to our workers and to citizens. So yes, we're very concerned about this, and hope that we can catch, the police department and the officials can catch the person who did this.
With what has happened in West Virginia and now and the coal ash thing, is it a threat? Is our water supply really fragile with these kind of things, or we need to be on the lookout for this kind of thing?
Well, I want to re-emphasize that this incident was not related to our drinking water system at all. This was strictly in the sanitary sewer system.
Once again, we want to thank you very much for turning out at this early hour and letting us get information out to the public as soon as we possibly were able to do so. We are conducting tests currently based on the water that we are treating. Once we have those tests, we will make them available to you. I should also say that I have been in contact with the mayor throughout the night and the early morning. He is fully apprised of the situation and would be available to you if appropriate later in the day, as will we. And again, we will share our testing information as soon as it is available. The bottom line messages that we do want to leave are, number one, this incident does not affect our drinking water. Number two, indications are that the discharge for our wastewater treatment plant is safe now. However, until we do testing, we want people along Mallard Creek to avoid human and animal contact. And number three, if anyone saw anything suspicious around the food line at Harris and Sugar Creek over Wednesday night, Thursday morning, to please call 911, or if you see any suspicious activity around the sanitary sewer system with people dumping in a non-governmental vehicle, please call 911. Again, thank you very much.